Hello and welcome students. In the last video lecture, I had explained you the formula to find correlation coefficient by Karl Pearson's method and the properties of correlation coefficient. Now in this video lecture, I am going to start with the interpretation of R, that is interpretation of correlation coefficient. This point is important because students in exam when the questions of 5 marks and it is asked to you find the correlation coefficient and interpret it. So if you have done the calculation correctly, you have found the value of R, that is correct one, but you have not interpreted it, then 0.5 will be cut. So when there is cutthroat competition, that 0.5 is also very important. So first of all, let us understand the interpretation of R. If the value of R is 1, it means if by calculation the value of R comes exact 1, then it will be called perfect positive correlation. Then the answer in interpretation you have to write that there is perfect positive correlation. If by the calculation the value of R comes that is negative 1, then it is called perfect negative correlation. We have already studied this by scatter diagram method. Now if the value of R comes that is 0, then it is called lack of correlation, or there is absence of correlation between two variables x and y. So this is the three interpretation when the value of R comes exact 1, exact negative 1 or 0. Suppose the value of R comes in between negative 1 and positive 1. Then here it is interpretation of partial correlation. Then it is called partial correlation. There in that cases we cannot utilize the word positive, perfect negative or no correlation. We have to utilize the word that is partial correlation. We'll understand it over here. Here the diagrammatic representation is given to you. Suppose if the value of R is exact 0, then it is called lack of correlation. Previously only we have understood that is if the value of R comes 0, then it is called no correlation or lack of correlation. If the value of R comes exact 1, positive 1, then it is called perfect positive correlation. And if the value of R comes exact negative 1, then it is called perfect negative correlation. Now if the value of R comes closer to 0 but not 0, see the examples are given over here. Suppose the value of R is 0.36 positive. It means the value of R is closer to 0, not closer to 1. If the value of R is closer to 0, then it is called low degree of positive correlation because it is nearby to 0. And positive value, that's why it's called low degree positive correlation. Now the next example, see R value, suppose it is 0.93. 0.93 means it is moving in the direction of 1. It is nearby to 1. If it is nearby to 1, then it is called high degree. High degree of positive correlation because the value of R is nearby to positive 1. Now the next example, if R is equal to minus 0.28. Minus 0.28 means it is moving closer to 0. But from negative side to the 0. So if the value is closer to 0 but in negative, then it is called low degree of negative correlation. And if the value of R is closer to negative 1, then it is called high degree of negative correlation. Here the example is given to you. Suppose value of R is minus 0.98, means it is nearby to negative 1. So it is called high degree of negative correlation. So students, before starting the practical sums of exercise 2.2, this point was important because if in the question it is mentioned to you to find the value of R and interpret it, then you have to write according to the answer whether it is perfect positive, perfect negative, lack of correlation, or if it is high degree, low degree, positive or negative correlation. Students, let's start with exercise 2.2 of your textbook. What is the question given over there that I am reading? From the following information obtained from a sample of 7 families of a society regarding height of father in centimeter and height of his adult son in centimeter, calculate the correlation coefficient. It means height of father and height of son is given to you. Height of father, that is in centimeter, it is given to you as x, and height of sun, that is y, given to you in the second column. Now you have to find the correlation coefficient. It's not asked to interpret. If it is given in the question to interpret the correlation coefficient, then you have to write one line in conclusion as interpretation. Over here, you have to just find the correlation coefficient. So the first step, that is value of x and value of y, that is given horizontal in your question. First of all, in the answer you have to place it in vertical form. So the first step, while seeing the question, you have to find the value of x bar and y bar. On the basis of value of x bar and y bar, you will decide which formula of correlation coefficient you will apply over there. Over here, the total of x bar, that is sigma x, is equal to 1169, and total of y, that is sigma y, is equal to 1176. So the first step to decide the formula of r, that is x bar and y bar. X bar is equal to, you are going the formula, that is sigma x upon n is equal to 1169 upon 7. N means 7. See, total n means 7 observations are over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So value of n, that would be 7. So 1169 upon 7, you will divide, you will get the answer, that is 167. The next one, that is value of y bar, that is sigma y upon n. Value of sigma y that we have found out, that is 1176 upon 7, that is n would be same, that is 7. So by dividing this two, you will get the answer value of y bar, that is 168. 167 and 168 both are integers, they are not in fraction. If the value of x bar and y bar are in integers, we have to apply the formula, that is r is equal to sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar upon under root of sigma x minus x bar whole square into under root of sigma y minus y bar whole square. So now moving on to the practical part of it. After finding the x bar and y bar, the next step, that is according to the formula, will require x minus x bar, y minus y bar, x minus x bar whole square and y minus y bar whole square. So first of all, we'll find out x minus x bar. X bar value came, that is 167. So I have placed over here 167. So every time from the value of x, you have to subtract 167. See, first value of x, that is given to you 170. So 170 minus 167, that would come to plus 3. 169 minus 167, that would come to plus 2. 168 minus 167, that would come to 1, and 167 minus 167 means it will come 0 over here. Now over here 166. So 166 minus 167, so it would come negative 1. 165 minus 167, it would come to negative 2, and 164 minus 167, it would come to negative 3. You can see positive 6 and negative 6. So sigma x minus x bar is equal to 0. Now in the same way, you have to find y minus y bar. What was the value of y bar? That is, we have found out 168. So each and every value of y will subtract from y bar, that is 168. So y value, first one, that is 172. So 172 minus 168, it would come plus 4. 168 minus 168, so 0. 170 minus 168, so plus 2. 168 minus 168, so 0. 165 minus 168, so negative 3. 167 minus 168, so negative 1, and 166 minus 168, so negative 2. Over here also, the value of sigma y minus y bar, that is the total of this column, will also come 0. Now the next part important required for the formula, that is sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar, means the multiplication of these two columns. So over here sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar, it means 3 into 4, 12, multiplication of these two columns. So 2 into 0, 0, 2 into 1, 2, 0, minus 3 into minus 1, so positive 3, minus 2 into minus 1, so plus 2, and minus 3 into minus 2, so plus 6. So total of sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar, it will come to 25. Now we have to find out the formula required, that is x minus x bar whole square. So x minus x bar whole square means the square of this column we have to do, that is square of x minus x bar that we have to do, then we'll get x minus x bar whole square. So what is the value of first value of x minus x bar? That is 3. So square of 3 means 9, 2 square means 4, 1 square means 1, 0 means 0, minus 1 square so positive 1, minus 2 square so positive 4, and minus 3 square so 9. Again the total of it means sigma x minus x bar whole square, that will come to 28. In a similar way, we have to do the square of y minus y bar. So 4 square it would come 16, 0 means 0, 2 square means 4, 0 again 0, 3 square means 9, negative 3 is there, but when we do the square it will become positive. Minus 1 square so it will come plus 1, minus 2 square so it will come plus 4. Now sigma y minus y square total it would come to 34. Now it is very simple, after getting all the three values, we have to just place these values in the formula of R. Again revising the formula of R, that is sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar upon under root of sigma x minus x bar whole square into under root of sigma y minus y bar whole square. So first data that is required, that is sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar. So that is the total of this column, that is sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar, that is 25. So 25 upon under root of sigma x minus x bar whole square. So x minus x bar whole square total is 28. So under root of 28 into under root of 34. So first of all we have to multiply 28 into 34. By multiplying 28 into 34 it would come to 952. By finding the square root of 952 it would come to 30.85. Then afterwards you divide 25 by 30.85, you will get the value of R, that is 0.81. I have already told in the properties that the value of R will always come in between negative 1 to positive 1. It cannot be more than 1 or more than negative 1. So here it is not told to interpret the correlation coefficient, but if in the question it is told that to interpret the correlation coefficient, that is R, then here you can see the value of R is closer to positive 1. If the value of R is closer to positive 1, then there is high degree of positive correlation that carries 0.5 marks in the examination. So up till here we have understood the first question. I hope you have understood it very well. After that we are going to start with the fourth sum of your textbook. First of all, I am reading question number 4 of your textbook of exercise 2.2. To check the ability of mathematics and logic of the students of a city, a private educational institute gives 20 puzzles based on these two subjects to 6 children selected from various schools. It means to check the ability of mathematics and logic of students. The 6 children from different schools are selected and 20 puzzles are given to them. So the first data that is given to you, that is number of puzzles solved based on mathematics that we have taken over here, that is this x, and the number of puzzles based on logic, that is y over here. Now over here x and y value are given to you. So by x and y value, first of all the first step that we have to find, that is x bar and y bar. So first of all the total of sigma x, that is sigma x is equal to 58, and total of y, that is sigma y, is equal to 61. So x bar is equal to sigma x upon n is equal to 58 upon 6, because total number of observations there are 6 over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So divide by 6 is equal to 9.67. Now y bar is equal to sigma y upon n. What is the total of y? That is 61. So 61 divided by 6, it would come to 10.17. Students, I have already explained you the formula that when the value of x bar and y bar comes in fraction, that is in decimal, then we have to utilize the formula of R, that is n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y upon under root of n sigma x square minus sigma x whole square into under root of n sigma y square minus sigma y whole square. Students, you have to by heart learn these two formulas when the value of x bar and y bar are integers and when the value of x bar and y bar are fractional. These are the two important formulas related to this chapter in case of Karl Pearson's method. Now understanding the solution of it. So as per the formula we require xy. It means total of xy, that is sigma xy. So first column over here that we have found out, that is xy. Xy means multiplication of x and y. So over here 12 into 11 it would come to 132. 8 tens are 80. 9 fours are 36. 10 sevens are 70. 13 into 8 104. 11 into 16 that would come to 176. So the value of sigma xy that would come to 598. The other value that we require, that is sigma x square and sigma y square. Value of sigma x and sigma y we have already found out, that is 58 and 61. So for now we have to find out sigma x square. To find out x square we have to do the square of the value of x. So first value of x, that is 12. 12 square means 144. 8 square 64. 9 square 81. 10 square 100. 8 square 64. 11 square that will come to 121. Now the total of sigma x square, that is sigma x square, will come to 574. As we have done for x, we have to do for y also. So square of y, it will come 11 square means 121. 10 square 100. 4 square means 16, 7 square 49, 13 square 169 and 16 square that will come to 256. Total of y square, that is sigma y square, will come to you, that is 711. Now placing all the data that we have found out in the formula of R, that is n sigma xy. So what is the value of n? That is 6. So 6 into bracket sigma xy. We have found out sigma xy, that is 598. So 598 minus sigma x into sigma y. Sigma x that we have previously found out, that is 58 and sigma y, that is 61. So 58 into 61 upon under root of n sigma x square. N value, that is 6. Sigma x square that we have found out, that is 574 minus sigma x whole square. Sigma x means again we have to place the value, that is 58 whole square into under root of n. N means 6. Sigma y square that we have found out, that is 711 minus sigma y. Sigma y means 61 whole square. Now with the help of calculator you can easily calculate. First of all, do the multiplication of 598 into 6. You will get 3588. 3588 minus 58 into 61. If you multiply, you will get 3538. Upon 6 into 574, it will come to 3444. All will be in root only, because still we have not found the root. Now 3444 minus 58 square. 58 square means 58 into 58. It would come to 3364 into under root of n sigma y square. So 6 into 711. 6 into 711, it would come to 4266 minus 61 square means 61 into 61, it would come to 3721. Now first of all the numerator 3588 minus 3538, if you will subtract you will get the answer, that is 50. Upon under root of 3444 minus 3364, if you will subtract these two values you will get under root of 80 into under root of 4266 minus 3721 you will do. You will get the answer by subtraction, that is 545, but in under root. Now first of all, in denominator you will multiply 80 into 545. By multiplying 8 into 545 and then to find the root of 8, you will get 208.81. So in numerator that is 50 upon denominator, that is 208.81. By dividing both the values, that is 50 divided by 208.81, the value of R that would come to 0.24. Again in this sum it is not asked to interpret the correlation coefficient, but if it is asked to interpret the correlation coefficient, then you can see the value of R is closer to 1, is closer to 0. So it is called low degree of positive correlation, as the value of R is positive over here and it is nearby to 0 or closer to 0. So the interpretation, if required, you have to write that there is low degree of positive correlation over here. So students, till now we have understood two practical sums, that is question 1 and question 4 of your textbook. Exercise 2.2, one sum related when the value of x bar and y bar that were integers, and the fourth sum that we have studied, that is when the value of x bar and y bar that are in fractions. But By both the values, the formula of R is differing. So I have chosen purposely these two sums. Revise it again and again. Study well. Till then, goodbye. Stay blessed.